All right, welcome back to At the Round Table with MAMLEO. I'm your host, Larry Ellison. My co-host, my brother's from another to my right, the Rhodes Scholar. Rhodes is here today.
Good morning.
Good morning, man. He's like my tag team buddy. And to my right, my big brother, my brother from another. The doctor is in the house. Checkup from the neck.
Yeah, I like that checkup from the neck up. Not much happening in this cold weather, doc.
That's what we needed.
Yeah, I hear you, doc. I hear you.
And, like I said, we are in some real trying times, folks.
Yes, we are.
And my concern is, are we up for the task? I mean, I know historically our folks have been built for this. So I say, we want to thank our sponsor, the Money Store, for all your mortgage needs. Give branch manager Cora Holbrook a call at area code 508-345-4726 or 508-443-6915. Again, that's Cora Holbrook at the Money Store. Matter of fact, Cora will be in probably the next week or the week after. The folks prepared for 2025 on is this the right time for you to buy a home? Dr. Bradley Rhodes was there. That we were down in Nubian Square. And there's a big article in the paper this week as well. Talk about Nubian Square. In Nubian Square, open air drug use grows amid neighborhood redevelopment efforts, and it reads as follows from the Boston Globe. They envision it as Boston's Black Wall Street in Roxbury, a collection of black developers, many with long-standing ties to the neighborhood, have laid out visions to restore Nubian Square to its mid-20th century commercial heights, and have launched an array of projects to revamp the neighborhood's faded commercial facades, cafes, grocery stores, nightlife, mixed-use housing, and the relocation of the Benjamin Franklin Cummings Institute of Technology. But business owners there say they have also seen a spike in the twin problems of homelessness and open-air drug use in recent months, a problem they attribute in part to people who relocated to Nubian Square after the city cleared out tent encampments at the area known as Mass and Cass a year ago. At a community safety meeting earlier this month, barbershop owner Pamela Lanes described harassment, catcalling, and occasional fights that have unnerved her and deterred customers. It's progressively gotten worse, said Lanes, who opened her shop a year and a half ago. Both of my sons come to the shop every day and they see it. Unfortunately, it's been normalized. Boston's addiction and cost of living crisis has touched all corners of the city, especially as public health officials and social workers moved a year ago to disrupt the decentralized large encampments that took hold of the intersection of Mass Ave and Melina Cass Boulevard on the Boston Common. Increases in public drug use have made neighbors and tourists feel less safe. Civil and business association leaders said last week at a city council hearing in October, some residents voiced similar concerns about Andrews Square in South Boston. Nubian Square has long had a homeless population, but it has now increased open-air drug sales and attendant increase in opioid overdoses. According to police data and public health officials, the shift comes as a crucial time for the neighborhood, as city officials and private developers have teamed up to draft big plans to invest in an under-resourced area known as the heart of Boston's black community. It really has a negative impact on how we function and flourish in Nubian Square, said Robert George, executive director of the small business advocacy nonprofit. We hear from the owners on a day-to-day businesses saying, I don't know how long we can do this. On a recent afternoon, a few people carrying shopping bags or pushing carts huddled on Washington Street just across from Nubian Square's bus terminal. Braced against the biting November wind, they said they have been living on the streets but did not want to be interviewed. George described the increase in homelessness and drug use as a spillover from the methadone mile, a derogatory term that has been used to describe the areas of Mass and Cass, where a dense collection of substance abuse treatment programs, including methadone clinics, are located. He and others called for the additional housing and addiction services in the Nubian Square to help people in need, saying that the same concentration service the city poured into Mass and Cass should be replicated elsewhere, and that business owners who are trying to revitalize the area also deserve support. Kelly Young, director of the city's coordinated response team to address the crisis near Mass and Cass, said outreach workers from her team visit neighborhoods such as Nubian Square and Grove Hall 5 nights per week. I guess drugs don't happen on the weekend. She said Mayor Michelle Wu had tasked her team with preventing mass public drug use and that the police provide a necessary deterrent. Law enforcement will help us to provide the necessary care and increase the likelihood of persons participating in treatment plan with services without sentences, Young said. The crisis in Mass and Cass can be traced to the closure of the Long Island Bridge in 2014, which cut off access to shelter and addiction services on the island. People contending with homelessness and substance use disorders began congregating and sleeping near the intersection where the homeless shelter for men is also located. The city ramped up services, attracting more people to the area. Dealers also turned up to the area, go figure. As conditions there became normalized, people set up encampments which the city repeatedly tried to shut down, culminating in a large scale in October. On an afternoon in late October, Abdul Adi sat on a fold-out chair next to the vendor tent as he operated the Nubian Square transit terminal system. Speaker systems and handbags were piled on a long table. Dressers, skirts hung from the tent. Adil said he noticed a spike of people congregating nearby since the city cleared out the encampments. When they put pressure with Mass and Cass, they spill over here. Go figure. He said a lot of people are trying to get help they need. City officials have taken note of the concerns. The Boston City Council held a hearing on the crisis at Mass and Cass in October, and both public health and police officials testified that they recognized that the situation in Nubian Square was worsening, not getting better. Council at the time, Councilor Tanya Anderson, who represents Roxbury, called for an increased coordination and funding to provide much-needed service. It's trickled down to our neighborhoods, Nubian Square, and all parts of Roxbury at this point. So this goes on, as he said, there's been some progress, but there's clearly, it looks like there's now a regression. We talked about, I was just down there last week, and I said, when I pulled up to the Frugal Bookstore, there was a transaction going on right in his doorway. He hadn't opened up yet, and, it was like, I'm like, okay, it's early in the morning. It's 9:30. And we're back at it again.
But that doesn't surprise me. And let me explain to you why. Because you do not stop crime in a society like America. You relocate it. All right. Can
you say that again? Because I think that's what people are missing.
Yeah,
right?
They're missing that. To that point. You don't stop crime as a police officer. You force people to relocate. So when you're clearing out Mass and Cass, they're going to someplace else. It's just that simple. Unless you have an objective. I'm sorry. If you have a point where you're going to put them in, or a place where you're going to place them, or some kind of support system or resources available to these folks, you're just going to relocate someplace else. And that someplace else is going to be local, someplace easy to walk to. And Nubian Square seems to be that spot. So I don't think this is all Siddiqui. I think it is the issue that the government, the local government, the municipality, clearing out Mass and Cass with no other place to put these people. And that's the problem.
Well, you're right on target, Dr. Bradley. We're going to grab these calls. I think they figured if they dispersed it around the city, it wouldn't look so bad if it was just congregated in one place. Because if you go down to Mass and Cass, you can barely walk on the sidewalks because they put up these chain link fences, right, to rope it off. But they're still down there. They're not down there. But now they found that, okay, if I go down to Nubian Square and I go down there, I'm not going to be moved. I can start the encampments down there.
It'll be more accommodating.
Exactly.
It's just that simple.
Exactly.
So
the resources are not there.
Exactly. So you can't say, well, we're going to change the name and the behavior is going to change when you have this feeder, which is Mass and Cass, to these various parts of the city. I don't think Nubian Square is the only place you're going to see that type of behavior. There'll be other places in the city that's more accommodating to these individuals.
But also, when you read the story, when they say, that the folks who were tasked with this, they said they treat this Monday through Friday. This is not a Monday through Friday problem.
It's not.
So if you're putting all this effort in Monday through Friday, and then these folks are left to their own demise Saturday and Sunday and holidays, then all that effort,
So you know what happens? I go someplace else on Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday I go back to Nubian Square,
right? Which
is the time that you and anyone else would be there who was doing shopping. So I think you have to have a holistic solution to the problem, not just this hodgepodge, patch this, patch that, and let it go here and let it go. It's just not going to work.
But Brother Rosen, this is what the mayor ran on. She ran on fixing the schools, which, in my opinion, are disasters these days. She ran on Mass and Cass, and all they did was relocate that. She ran on trying to bring in affordable housing. It's not affordable, and that's why you see so many people who are homeless there, right? And even the immigrants who came in, back in the days, you'd be able to find them affordable apartments and public housing or somewhere. That's just not attainable. So transitioning them, a lot of them now are back out at the airport and other places because it's cold outside. So we really are just relocating the problem and not fixing it.
Yep.
No, I will agree with that wholeheartedly, and that's one of the things. It's like you can't legislate your way out of this, okay? And
but they claim they can.
Well, that's the thing. They're not providing resources where they're actually needed. And the fact of the matter is, it's like, again, if these people are out there, they're not accepting the help or they don't want the help. How are you going to be able to say that you can help these people if they're not even accepting the help that you're offering?
Well, I can tell you, the Quincy and Long Island, they're not opening up that bridge again.
Well, they're not doing that, but Boston is not the only municipality dealing with this issue.
No.
There's other municipalities around the nation who have solved this problem.
Yeah, San Francisco.
So why not just reach out to people who have solved it to say, okay, what did you do that maybe we can bring in to help us? Because they're not going to, you're looking for 20th century solutions to deal with 21st century issues.
But
so you have to come up with innovative solutions to deal with the problem.
And the oldest in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
and then thinking is part of ways, probably the oldest and slowest getting. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the roundtable.
Okay, it's me. I'm back again.
All right. Okay, you want to weigh in on that?
All right. Yeah, so what I wanted to say was, Dr. Bradley, like to your point about relocation, right? This even happens on a super micro level. Because in Dudley, initially, when, Larry and I were online and I was being critical of, Siddiqui's, rendition of how things were going down there, the primary area down there was the parking lot right across from the bookstore. And at that point, and even from the time when he first moved in there, he was almost on a daily basis cleaning up urine and feces from his front vestibule, whatever you want to call it, right? So that waned, and that's when I and Larry, going through it, we saw improvement. We were like, okay, it is improving.
Yeah.
But to your point of relocation, it's just moved to the other side now. So now the side that it's more prominent on is on the other side near the convenience store and the liquor store, conveniently. And now they are, and also too, the Bank of America parking lot, which you would think a bank would be a lot more secure than it is. But they've taken over that parking lot behind the Bank of America, and now they're seeing feces and stuff like that over by Silver Slipper. That might be from someone eating the food. I don't know. but now there's more feces on and urination and congregation on that side now. Oh, and all along the side of the building that is the Citizens Bank and the One United, that side street. It looks like a mini Skid Row.
When I first came on the job as a young officer, because in fact I used to get that, and it was one of the areas known, and they used to call it the triangle, right? Because it's shaped like a triangle, right? You go down to Washington Street, and then you come back up to Washington Street, right? And it's shaped like a triangle. That always had two walking units that walked down there, and it made a difference. But now the officers have pretty much been told to not engage, and if you do, you arrest someone for drugs, small amount or whatever, the courts don't really want to do that. So it's basically giving permission slip for people to operate in that way. You remember, Dr. Bradley, let's call it the triangle. And I remember Harold Gilbert and Dave Smith used to walk that, and they knew all the merchants. They moved people along. They were getting the job done. There's a car down there, but it looks more like a Christmas tree with the lights lit up, sitting parked somewhere on the island, but they're not engaged. And it's one officer, and the problem is too big for one person. And if the visibility used to be a deterrent, that's no longer a deterrent anymore. That's people just because they know that there are no consequences for their action. He said, but when I came on, and I'm not saying we should go back to that, but just being present where heroin was kept was arrestable. Just being present. If you were in the house where heroin, we didn't lock everybody up for it, but it was a deterrent. Those guardrails are long, and you can be sitting there with a needle hanging out of your arm, and no one's going to bother you. And matter of fact, a lot of them, if they overdose and you give them a hit of Narcan, they want to fight you for messing up their high. So it's changed, and I can understand like a lot of officers. Why am I going to put my job on the line? Why am I going to engage when that's the message? It's very clear that this is a mental health and this is a health crisis, and that they have these folks out there, but they only work Monday through Friday. Jamal, stand by. I want to bring this other call in.
But before you do that,
okay,
that's my other hit, is that too often the police department is seen as a panacea to all social ills in America. They're doing things that we were never created to do, like this issue.
Right.
I mean, there are other resources that should be in the community to help deal with this problem. This is not only a mental health problem, but it's also a lack of other severe resources like housing, job opportunities, all those things that we as police officers don't deal with.
Well, you just outlined it very well, and that people at the end of the day don't understand, or they've forgotten that just in the name of its own, we are law enforcement, right? And we've been asked to task with doing so many other things. But at the end of the day, the primary function of the police is to enforce laws.
Yeah.
It's protection. It is not the social services that we've been put on top of being a police officer. But that is really our job. These other folks don't have multiple jobs. They don't have to go out and arrest people and counsel them. They're just there to do one thing.
Oftentimes, Larry, as a cop, I wore multiple hats and didn't have a clue what I was
Marriage
doing.
counselor.
Exactly. I was just actually learning through osmosis. And I think the time has come to stop that. I think is that we have to give our officers the necessary authority to galvanize the resources and bring them into a room or bring them into wherever you want to bring them and sit down and say, okay, this is what we got.
Yeah.
Who's here to handle that?
But this is a point too. Like I
situation?
said, now this article came out before City Councilor Anderson was arrested, and she's quoted in here. That's her district. Now she's under fire. How much do you think her constituents down there are going to have her attention when she has to do
I got it.
You see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
This is exactly, and this is ironic that she's quoted in here.
Yeah, but I think that's why it's important that that people do not come up against her and start calling for her resignation, and because if you're doing that, you're creating extra stress that's going to pull her away from dealing with these resources, these issues.
Yeah.
Because I think that we talk about community policing, but there's nothing community policing. There's no community policing around that, because the community can handle this situation because if they come together with the police department. Our problem is that every time there's an issue, call the police.
Absolutely, because we're the only ones open 24 hours. Like this other ones, these other folks, as they said, they work Monday through Friday. 9 to 5. Like that's how crime and that's how drug use is going. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the roundtable.
Good morning.
We have welcome to Bear. Siddiqui, what's going on?
I'm trying to understand this conversation. First of all, I don't know about the Globe article, but I can tell you this, that the bottom line is that, look, since the spring of 23, I told you, I've been there on a regular basis. I was through this Nubian Square this morning at 7 o'clock, and the streets were empty.
Yeah, they're not there early.
Let me just say this now. That I'm not talking about just in the morning. Now I hear about this whole thing around the whole thing. Look here, there was he's not the captain at B2 anymore. But over a year ago, when I negotiated with him, I can't remember who he was, and the present captain, he had carried on the whole piece so that I heard Jamal about the convenience store. When I come through there, if there's a few individuals out there, all I have to do is call 911 and they dispatch somebody. I mean, I came through the other night and they had somebody there with the blue light flashing, so they strategically, B2 has something set up. So let me just say this, that I don't know what it is that everybody else is experiencing. I'm through there every day. And I don't know, like for instance, during the summer, there were family gatherings happening on the plaza in front of the library. The Madison Park Development Corporation just did their annual gala, and the title of this piece was A Starry Night in Nubian Square. And somebody called me, the Atlantic magazine, a national magazine. They did an article about
country with a resurgence economically, and one of the areas they mentioned was Nubian Square in Roxbury, Mass. Jaylen Brown of the Celtics has declared in terms of his campaign around the Black Wall Street that it would be stopped in Nubian Square and in New York City. So what I'm saying is, I don't know what it is.
Vicky, so let me just, because I hear what you're saying, and we've all admitted that there has been improvement there. But I said I hadn't been down there. I was there last Saturday morning. I was there at 9:30. I left there right after the broadcast. Rhodes and we went down there. I pulled up. I was waiting for the owner of the Frugal because we went down there and we were there for a few hours to support black business on the small business weekend, right? And we were able to bring a lot of people in. And as soon as I pull up there and I'm sitting in my vehicle, there is a drug transaction taking place inside the doorway of the building of the Frugal Bookstore where we're about to go to. And I'm seeing other things down there at that time of the morning. I'm not saying that the good things you're talking about aren't taking place, but I'm not going to say that from what I said was what I was seeing with my own eyes.
Okay.
That we still have a lot of work to do, right?
I agree with that. I'm just saying what you're talking about was an isolated incident because of the fact that everybody knows that in that block you're talking about, there used to be numerous people there who are no longer. Let me just say this.
No, Ziggy, because I have to say that. Okay, you're saying you go down there and you don't see these things. I pull up one more. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish, and I'll let you have it. Right, I'll let you have it because you're saying that it's just a coincidence that I pull up that morning and these people happen to be selling drugs at that time of the morning. That doesn't happen. So I just picked the wrong Saturday to show up. No, let me finish. Okay, I'm going to let you. And you're saying that when you go by there, you don't see these same things that I happen to see that one day. That's just. I just can't wrap my arms around that was the only time that these drug transactions are taking place. Unfortunately, the day that I happen to pull up. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is that maybe there was an isolated incident. What I'm saying, like for instance, Mass and Cass. Now you talk about the Boston Globe. Now, what is being talked about, they're saying that there's a big problem down there, the Boston Commons, because they said that a lot of folks from the Mass and Cass have gone down there. If you go through Nubian Square, you would expect that a lot of those folks would have gravitated to Nubian Square. They have not. And let me just say this, that I know Dr. Bradley got his doctorate. I started mine but never finished it, but if I were to be doing my final piece here, I could do something about their society that they have down there. Those folks, they communicate with each other. The word is out. Like the folks from Bass and Cass, you would think that they would be swarming down there. But the word is out. You cannot go to Nubian Square. That's why you don't see folks hanging out like that. And the bottom line is that when you look at what's going on now in terms of, well, first of all, where Harrison Supply used to be, that you got the school being built there, the Franklin
Benjamin
Cummins Institute of Technology. The Bay State banner is now in John Elliott Square, which is part of Nubian Square. One United Bank is building their new headquarters in John Elliott Square. Beckman's in the bowling building. So what I'm seeing is that folks are gravitating towards Nubian Square because they see that as becoming our spot, if you will, in terms of showing folks that the bottom line is that we're moving in the right direction. So I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, not.
But the picture I'm saying I'm not even going to look at that Globe article because they're not going to say nothing positive about us anyhow.
I'm not saying that I'm looking at it as gospel. I'm talking that based on what I saw. Rhodes, you were there that day, right?
Yes.
So
go through it now.
No.
On a Saturday.
It was last Saturday.
Yes.
Rhodes, you were there. What was your observations of what was going on down there? You were there, Seth.
Okay, I was outside for a little while, and as a matter of fact, people did engage with us, and they were happy to take donuts and coffee.
Right.
And then, but as far as like trying to go into the bookstore and trying to say, hey, yeah, we're part of the community, or what have you. No, and I did not notice that. I did not, and I wasn't there early enough to observe the transaction that you observed. But I will tell you, I've been there at night, and there's a whole melee of people and things that are going on near Nubian Square. Like in like when he said that Citizens Bank, that little corner that that we went to the African restaurant, there literally gaggles of people hanging out, doing things, exchanging, what have you, and
brother, look here, I'm through there every night, and what happens is that you got young people that want to hang out, and some folks who shouldn't. All it is, have you noticed when sometimes there'll be a cruiser there on the plaza with the blue light flashing?
Yes.
I'm telling you. My problem is when I hear the generalization that
it's not a generalization.
Things are still out of control. There might have been
go ahead, Jamal.
Okay, no one's for improvement. But
we're giving credit where credit is due. We're not saying that there hasn't been improvement. Go ahead, Jamal. You wanted to say something.
All right, listen, Siddiqui. Relax.
Yeah.
Everybody has said
right.
it has improved.
Right.
Everyone has said that.
Yeah.
Everyone has said that.
Exactly.
So all I'm telling you, and from once again, as another person who's down there, I can't say I go down there every day, but I'm down there at least probably 3 or 4 times a week. All right, and my good brother, has a business down there, and so he hasn't had what he's had before, as I was telling him before, dealing with the feces and all this thing, but it moves. And to your point of a cruiser, a lot of time they park that cruiser right there in front, between the liquor store and the convenience store, or right on that corner of the liquor store. And when they do that, the people just move to the other side.
Exactly.
And so, and then hold on, and then when they move to the other side, the people just move back.
But here's the thing too.
Hold on. Okay. Behind and around the corner of where the Citizens Bank and One United houses, the same building, that corner is off the hook. Another place that has been taken over is in front of what looks like a haunted house, but the old store that did the keys with the green down there. That place is crazy. The parking lot behind Silver Slipper is crazy. And so all I'm saying is, and even I see people congregated in Edward Gordine Park, which was beautifully remade, but people still congregate there. Oftentimes when I'm coming home from when me and Larry do the food thing, I feed some of these people. And once again, I'm not a stranger to this. Some of the people out there are people I went to high school with, or was my quote-unquote OGs, and now they down on their luck. So this is not a fictitious thing or somebody just trying to, everything's messed up, but it's a reality, brother.
Okay, and I hear what you're saying, but let me just say this, that the bottom line, when I hear you talking about the park right across the street from B2, the bottom line is that they send people over there. The areas that you're talking about, like this whole thing about they shift to the other side. Like, for instance, now I heard Larry talk about the frugal side. If you go to the frugal side, the folks who are no longer there, they don't shift. They stay on one side now. And what I'm saying is that on the other side is that they understand the fact that they cannot congregate. You can go right now. You should be able to go through there right now. See, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying you can go through it right now. There should be a bunch of folks from Mass and Cass at Nubian Square right now. I just went through there at 7:30 in the morning, and it's empty. So I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying that the bottom line is that when I hear this thing about the Globe article, is that we have to talk about the balance of, yes, we still got work to do, but we need to be able to make it very clear, more than just saying, hey, things have improved, to say it's improved significantly to the extent that we've got businesses and folks who are moving into the area. I mean,
Siddiqui,
we got to be very careful about gentrification.
Right. No, Siddiqui.
And what's name?
Siddiqui, let me
my man.
Siddiqui.
My man there is getting rid of the Richard Taylor. That Blair's lot, that project that's going to be there, the place where the Haley House was at. I mean, we got to be careful
Siddiqui,
about the gentrification because in 5 years,
no one is disagreeing with that. This
I'm just saying,
article, listen, this article,
the negative picture that's changed, like things are still the same.
No, they talk to the article is quoting some of the people who businesses down there. The lady there that has the barbershop, she talks about what she's going through down there. When we were down there, I was seeing it with my own eyes. Matter of fact, I don't know what's going on in the building that's right there with a lot of the folks that were coming out of that building and hanging their heads out the window, like Rose was saying, looking for donuts. You can clearly tell.
What was that?
Look, Siddiqui, it's the barbershop right next to Silver Slipper and the liquor store, right between them, which used to be
the brand new one.
Hold on. Which used to be Berkshire Bank's
office. It's a brand new barbershop. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Hold on. Which once again took over Berkshire Bank because Berkshire Bank, remember, they are the first ones who made this big promise of a black Wall Street and all this black economic development. How long were they down, Dudley? Not even 2 years? That building is vacant. This sister took it over, and now every day she's
saying she's right. She's saying that she's struggling to keep her business there because people don't want to come there because of what's going on. We're not saying, like I said, we're not claiming that there hasn't been improvement there. Matter of fact, Jamal was speaking a few weeks ago before this article came out. He was saying that I said I haven't been down there. I know, Dr. Bradley, when you were there that time, but when I went down there, I was, and saw what was taking place in front of me. I'm not just basing this on the Globe article. I'm basing this on when I went down there. It was 9:30 in the morning. Right after this broadcast, I was there. I pull up. I'm waiting for Lenny to open up the bookstore, and I'm watching what's going on in real time.
That was last week.
Last week.
weekend.
So there were like 20, 30 people lined up down there doing crime.
That's not what I said.
It was an isolated incident that you observed.
Listen, Siddiqui, I don't think you can categorize what I saw as an isolated incident that somehow just happened to be that day. Me being a trained detective, that I pull up that day.
I'm a trained detective, but I'm down there every day, and I know crime when I see it. And it's minimal down there in comparison to what it used to be.
So, Siddiqui,
my whole thing, I'm not saying it's
let me
perfect.
finish.
I'm just saying
But
we
you
paint a
cannot.
picture.
That's not what I'm painting. That's
Things have not changed
Siddiqui.
in
That's
terms
not.
of like the
I don't know what part
Cancer down there. They're not.
Siddiqui,
You know,
you're
I'm
hearing.
just, and they, because of the
hearing
fact
what you wanna
they communicate and they've made it very clear.
Siddiqui.
You cannot go to Nubian Square because if
Siddiqui.
you do, that's probably going to be a problem
That's
for you.
not
That's
true.
why they're not there.
But then how can you
Bottom line.
categorize, Siddiqui, how can you categorize what I saw in your picture? You're saying it's an
Because I'm there every day. You're there once in a blue moon.
So
That's why.
So you cannot say it's an isolated
It's a fact
incident.
Siddiqui is there every day.
Right.
My people told me he brings the cigarette.
And they got your name on them. Okay.
This is where I'm saying is that no one is saying this discrediting the work that's gone in, that continues to go in. But I don't think it's appropriate for you to say that. I just happened to go there at the wrong time.
Oh, no, I'm just
every
saying.
time you go there, there's it's family outings and everything is.
Oh, no, I'm there morning and night, brother. Morning.
Oh, you know what's interesting? All the times I've been down, Siddiqui, let me set the record straight. Let me set Siddiqui. No. Listen, this is the MAMLEO broadcast.
I'm not anti-police, but let me say, if it wasn't for B2 and their cooperation, the improvement there would not be there right now based on it. They didn't have to cooperate with me when I sat down with them.
No one is Siddiqui. Listen, we're gonna have a conversation here. We have to have it both ways. I can't have you screaming over me because I think it's important. I think it's important that you be heard, but I also think it's important for the other side, right? And you cannot discredit what people are seeing just because you don't want it to be seen.
No, I'm just saying, bro, I'm down there every day.
Siddiqui, let me tell you, prior to for Siddiqui, you saying you're down there every day. Prior to my retirement, I was there every day. I was going to the bowling building several times a day. And I saw the same thing down there, and you claim that so you're not the only one that goes down there. Now, I have to admit, I haven't been down there in a while. I hadn't been down there in a while.
Go to Nubian Square and observe what you see, and then get back to me.
Excuse
We're doing that now. You're not listening.
I was just there.
We were there last week.
I'm not going to go there every day and monitor and report back to you.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm there all the time.
Okay.
Siddiqui, go to Lenny's bookstore
Right.
and listen. Here's what I want you to do.
How about go see the lady at the barbershop?
From Jamal.
yes.
Go to Lenny's bookstore, get you some
Why don't we
free
meet him down
incense, some
there?
free oil, because those are my products
we
down there,
broadcast from
brother.
down there?
I'm there constantly. I go back, plus those are my friends. So I know, look, Larry and them retired, and Dr. Bradley, they might not be there that often, so you could do that. You could do once in the blue moon, and I saw that there. That was a good police joke, blue moon. But for me, I am there, and once again, I know some of the people who are there, active players. I know some of the cigarette guys. I know the guy with the van who sells all the African products. So once again, don't make it like everybody just don't know what they're talking about.
Right, and I don't think you can. And also to that point,
the cigarette guys used to be prevalent.
But see, you cannot. So Siddiqui, how do you discredit the Siddiqui? How do you discredit
We've all agreed on that. We've all agreed. Yes, it used to be 20. Now it's like 4.
Right.
We agree.
Right. We've all said that there's been improvements.
It used to be 20 drug dealers.
Right.
Now there's 3. We agree.
But see, I'm not disagreeing with y'all. The only thing is that what's coming across.
No, we're not. We're saying this work that's not true.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
How are you saying that when we're saying that, Siddiqui?
We've said clearly.
We said there have been major improvements. There's no one saying that things have not improved.
How many times do we need to say it?
Right, but we also can't discredit the business owners. So, Siddiqui, what do you
saying how bad it is still down there?
Well, these are people who live down there.
Yeah, talk to them. Like you said,
They're
talk to
trying
them
to
about.
make their living. This woman is working down there. You're saying, oh, she's been there for a short period of time. For almost 3 years, she's saying that it is difficult for her to make a living. How do I just discredit what she's saying? She's living it every day. You say you pass through. Thank you, Jamal. Thank you.
Richard Taylor's talking about. If she's not getting enough business, it's because of the fact that it's about
If she says
traffic coming through there.
Exactly, the walking traffic. People are afraid to walk. People are afraid to walk through there.
Dr. Bradley, help your friend out there. You ain't getting
How
away
can
with
you make
it.
that assessment without even reading the article or meeting the lady? Go talk to her.
Right.
Yes.
Meet her.
Exactly. You say, but that's the thing is, Siddiqui said he drives through there.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I not only drive through. I sit there.
So have you had a conversation with this woman in the have you had a conversation with the woman in the barbershop? Or some of the other people that are mentioned in here. Those are the people that maybe you might need to want. Siddiqui, those are the people that you might want to have a conversation with and get their perspective, because they're living it every day. You're passing through. That's their business down there. They're trying to make a living. You're passing through. You're not impacted.
Pass through. I'm there. And I'm saying to you,
I ain't never seen you down there.
I know we were there last week.
Oh,
At the book.
right.
How come you didn't come to the bookstore last week? We were having like that event.
Why don't we have a broadcast from down there?
Yeah, we'll broadcast it.
Why don't we do something
that'd
like
be a good
that?
idea.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we do that? I mean, that'll put us there for a few hours.
I just,
Yep.
I
And we can
totally
sit there
I don't
and
have
we
a problem
can
with
do
that.
Yeah.
broadcasts and invite people down to the bookstore and do
No,
something like that,
that-
and we can get a feel for what's going on.
Right.
That little area that they had the people sitting in or whatever, and face it that way, so that way when we do the broadcast from there, we can face the actual
Because
window.
I can tell you, and Jamal, you were there. Most of the people that came there that visited that bookstore that last Saturday were people that we invited that didn't know the bookstore was there. They came to support it. But what was telling was that there were only maybe 3 people who came there who were familiar, that would normally come in there, right? And so we're talking about maybe 40 to 50 people coming into a business that normally wouldn't come in there. To 4 people, that's the type of support that he needs in his business, right? And what a lot of them saw probably won't come back down there. Just if I had my kids with me and they probably wouldn't notice what I noticed, because they're young. But I'm saying to myself, I'm about to go into this building, this bookstore, and there's this guy and this girl. They're doing their transaction right there. He's spitting it out. I know what's going on, and it wasn't just, oh, geez, I just picked the wrong day at 9:30 on a Saturday morning. That this is a one up. I can't believe that that's happening. But also, you're right. The parking lot was not as full as it normally is across the street with people in there. There were a lot of positives that I took away.
But I think we can agree, though, that was just one isolated small part of the entire Nubian Square community.
Right, but the impression that Siddiqui would say
that
want people to believe that when he drives through there that everything is rosy, and that the one time I happen to be back down here on a Saturday morning and I see this taking place, that this is an isolated incident. I can't buy that.
Okay, let me just
That's
say
the only transaction that guy did all day. Was the one
last year, I saw a couple of teachers bringing their entire class into Frugals. And let me just say this, that the Metco youngsters, they now have a process now, they started this summer, where they do tours of historic Nubian Square, which never existed. So all I'm saying is I'm not disagreeing that there's room for improvement. We got to watch out for gentrification. I'm just saying that I don't just drive through. I'm there, and I'm so pleased to see the improvement. Like I said,
And so are we.
to Madison
So
Park
are
talking
we.
about their annual gala being a starry night in Nubian Square. That sends a message in terms of how folks feel about it. And the grow among folks, you don't hear them talk about, oh, down Dudley. They talk about Nubian Square. And
So
like I
how
said,
do
the
we?
Atlantic article-
How does that woman who owns the barbershop, these other businesses who are in this article, they're not seeing it the same way that some of these other folks? How do we?
They're brand new. They've only been there a few months. I don't know what her business is going on or whatever. All I'm saying is they're brand new, and that
You can't
I don't see
discredit
people
them.
hanging out there
what they're
congregating.
seeing.
And like I said before, with the improvement, there's going to be even more
Wow.
foot traffic down there, and we got to be careful with gentrification because I hear
gotta
people
get me
talk
a
all
pair
the
of
time.
those
They say they see
rose-colored glasses, 'cause
quote-unquote
I'd
white
like to
people
see the
walking through
world
there all the
on
time. So that's what we got to be careful of because in 5 years, you won't even recognize Nubian Square
I don't
based on what's
disagree.
coming there,
I
and we
tell
gotta make
people
sure
it's
that we're
going to be
still
just
gonna
like
be
the
there.
South
That's all
End,
I'm
where,
saying.
where we get pushed out. I don't disagree with that. I agree 100% with that. That's what I'm saying. But if this lady can't make a living down there, she's not going to be part of that success. That's what I'm saying. How do we stabilize it so that you know what people that want to go down there get
but the thing is, like, if we're not careful, the people, even the frugal bookstore, will not be a part of that
Correct.
success,
Right.
because justification is going to move them all out.
Yes.
So I think I think you're both saying the same thing. I think you're both saying that there's room for improvement. I think you're both are saying that you know, those are areas. I mean, you can't say the entire Nubian Square is bad because of
no
one
one is saying
incident.
that, and that's what we're saying
Okay.
is that I think though. But I think when Siddiqui says to someone with my background that this is an isolated incident, that I'm seeing this one day, that these aren't taking
comparison,
place
right, it
there.
is. Let
It's
me
not
just
an
say this,
isolated
that-
incident, Siddiqui. I can go down there right now. I can and we can sit there and I can point out the drug transactions because I know what drug transactions. I know them when I see them, and it's not just me just driving through there. So I think it's really honestly.
I don't drive through, brother. I sit there. I know people down
I
there.
was
now
sitting
because
in
they
my
know who
car
I
too,
am.
Siddiqui.
And let me just say this. Maybe the sister needs to look at her marketing campaign.
It's
because
all
the
her.
bottom-
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this thing.
Blame the victim.
They're
Okay.
thriving.
I remember in marketing, remember what they said? Location. All right. And the location right now is affecting her business.
So hold on. Also, stop. Let's stop right there. The barbershop that's by the fire station. You talking about the one that's in Hibernian Hall?
No.
The one that's she says she's right there in the article.
No. I'm not talking about the sister
Yeah.
now.
Oh.
I'm talking about what Siddiqui gave as a comparison.
Yeah.
The fire shop the barbershop by the firehouse. You're talking about Hibernian Hall.
Yeah, that's the one. I was by there the other day.
So you talking about my good friend Allah Mathematics Allah, who passed away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Yeah, you talking about his son. No, they are not thriving, sir. And if you talk to his son, he will let you know that they need help with the business as well. So once again,
Well, they all do. But I went by there the other day. Not me personally, but it was full. I don't know what the,
he may have had an event. He may have had an event. All I'm saying is you may just allow for this to absorb. You may have such a distorted view of what Nubian Square is because of your affinity for it, that you can only listen to one side.
Right.
And,
That's true.
And I'm just telling you,
distorted. We're getting national recognition based on the improvement. The only thing that's distorted is what you just said.
So Siddiqui, Jamal, I gotta jump in. Jamal, I gotta jump in here. Jamal, no, Siddiqui, I gotta jump in because no. So Siddiqui, I gotta jump in here because you are contradicting yourself, right? You're let me finish. You're just Siddiqui.
I'm there because I care about.
So listen,
our
folks.
I ain't here trying to open up a business and make money. I don't get paid for what I do.
Siddiqui, you are contradicting this. You know why you're contradicting? You're saying that we should look at the article that you said that gives this national praise to it, right? But we should now discredit the Globe and the woman who's saying in that article because it doesn't fit your narrative. You can't have it both ways.
Amen.
You can't have it both ways.
Recommended during the summer, and I heard it repeated today, is go and do a broadcast down there at the square and talk to people.
It will be like Pastor Walker. We'll have our equipment stolen. No. So please, because this is what's so. This is why you cannot have an irrational conversation with someone who's irrational, because you see, like I said, you're saying it, praising the article that says everything is rosy, but when the Globe says and they're interviewing people who are down there, you're saying that they don't have a marketing plan.
It's fake news now,
and that they don't know what they're doing, and that my being down there is a one of. I can't buy that. I can't buy that.
It's literally classic case of cognitive dissonance. Like the new evidence being presented to you, you're not even acknowledging it. You're just kind of going right back and doubling down on your story and your version of it. Okay, there's like the whole notion of like.
When's the last time you were there, Mr. Pierre?
Last week. Oh my God! Did you not listen?
That's what I'm saying.
You're not listening.
You don't have to be there every day.
On Larry and Rhodes. Once again, I was there yesterday. That's what I'm saying. So stop with this, like acting like people are foreigners that don't know. Once again, Siddiqui, I would love. Look,
I remember when there used to be trains there.
Dr. Bradley Rhodes, we should all meet up down there together. You want to walk around the block?
Yes.
And see who knows more people?
Yeah.
Every store owner, all the people hanging out. Once again, these are people I grew up with, or whatever. Same thing. You just use my guy's barbershop as an analogy. This is a good friend of mine, and his son, man.
Listen.
And your assessment is not accurate, but it feeds into your overall,
Didn't Soleil just close down from down?
Mine's inaccurate, and you haven't done
And
nothing.
you know what?
Let's do the broadcast.
Let's do the broadcast.
Yeah, Jamal. Didn't Soleil?
When you say
No,
you
brothers,
haven't done
brothers.
nothing, who are you referring to? What do you mean, please?
You turn that up a little bit.
You say my viewpoint is distorted, and I'm just saying that the bottom line is that I go down there right now, and you ask people, what has Jamal Crawford done in terms of prospering for Nubian Square? People will look at me. I'm just saying, for you to say that my
well,
is distorted.
that's a lie, sir. Well, that's
okay,
a lie.
so-
Once again, that's a lie, sir. And I can give you references. I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Right.
Everybody knows. Fed people down Nubian. I've helped multiple businesses down Nubian. I worked on the empowerment district down there. Ask Mr. Taylor if I was helpful to you. You said Mr. Taylor's your buddy. Ask Mr. Taylor if I was helpful to him. So, see, sir, once again, you can say whatever you want. You can call me a dark-skinned fat man, but it don't make it true.
No, I wouldn't say that about you, brother. But I didn't know that you personally don't have a really
call me that.
You don't really like me. I understand that, but that
listen,
don't bother me. I'm just saying that I'm about advocating for the community, and I'm not saying that things are perfect. I'm just saying that we don't need to go along with what the white folks down at the Globe are saying about Nubian Square because it's improved.
So
I think that's the call. And I'm looking forward to the broadcast that everybody's talking about.
It's all about them white people from the Atlantic.
I was gonna say, right? That's what I was gonna say before, right? There was black people wrote that article, right?
If I may, I think we're seriously damaging the effectiveness of our broadcast with this type of discussion. I think what we should do is table this. You do a broadcast from Nubian Square. Invite Siddiqui to be a part of it. Invite Jamal. Invite whomever we want to invite, and then we can see for ourselves what's happening on a Friday morning, live from 7 to 9.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. I'm sorry. I think that's the best way to do it. And let's just table it.
Yeah. Let's bring this other caller. We've got a couple of minutes. Let's bring this other caller in. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the round two. Oh, it's Jamal. Oh, yes, Jamal. Yeah, lost him. No. Soleil she was down there. She didn't survive down there. Most of the businesses that were inside the bowling building, the restaurants, and whatnot, did not survive down there. So I don't know what the common denominator is, because businesses down there, black-owned businesses, are not making. Walgreens left because of what was going on.
But just by the nature of economy, of economics, there are going to be some businesses that make it and some businesses that do not.
When you
and there'll be some resources.
Distractions, Dr. Bradley.
I got it. But I think as it relates to people coming to this broadcast for information about our community, about who we are, about what contributions we have made, we are seriously mitigating the effectiveness of this broadcast. I agree,
but I think also I cannot let them leave out there in the atmosphere that Siddiqui is suggesting that somehow what he sees is the only version of it that they should see. And it should discredit the people who are impacted every day. Like I said, Siddiqui doesn't have a business down there. I guarantee you Siddiqui is not down there for hours on end every day, and neither am I. But my time there can't say, well, this is an isolated
I got
incident.
you. I got you.
That's just-
And I appreciate that. But on the same side, Siddiqui is vested into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the best thing to do is to
passion is
have
clear.
his passion is very obvious.
Yeah.
But have a broadcast where we're going to bring people in who are there every day, who own businesses
I think
there.
that's a great
that can sit
idea.
down and have a conversation. We can talk to Pastor Wall, talk to Pastor Hobbs, who's here, and see if we can move this to that location for one session,
Yeah.
just to see what's going on.
Yeah,
and we can broadcast it
We
from there.
probably would have to set up something because Lenny doesn't open until 10 o'clock.
Okay.
That's the problem. So we'd have to maybe set up something with him to open because it's too cold to be still.
Oh no, we're not gonna do it in the cold weather. I'm from
Outside.
Georgia, dog. I'm not doing the cold
Outside.
weather. This dark skin doesn't like cold weather,
No,
dog.
so we'll definitely do that.
Trust me.
Is Siddiqui still there? Oh, we lost. Okay. All right.
I think that's the best way to do it. I think if we do it that way, we'll be able to actually have
I still
for
don't-
ourselves.
No matter what you see, it's going to be the half empty, half full, right? Because Siddiqui is going to tell you you're not seeing what you're seeing. It's like, who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? And it's not there to criticize. I think that's the hard part of having this conversation with him is that he thinks that somehow you are discrediting the work that has been done. Jamal has said many times to me that wow, things have improved. He says they have to give credit. And I give credit as well. But we know that crime has been located. He's saying that things that because Mass and Cass have dispersed it. Andrew Square is saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. We're seeing these same problems up in Grove Hall because of the disbursement, right?
Yep.
And so if you're saying, because here's the thing that I think he hurts himself as well. If you say everything's okay, then people are going to say, well, maybe we should relocate our resources someplace else because according to Siddiqui, it's heaven down. It's a family-friendly environment, and that's not the case.
Well, I definitely, as a black man who focuses on the contributions that we have made to society, I can definitely appreciate the work that was done, that is being done down there. And the whole idea around Black Wall Street, I think that's a beautiful thing because I think we need to support each other. We need to support our own.
Brother, that's why we were there last Saturday.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right.
So but clearly, there still need to be work done.
Absolutely.
And I think you were saying that. I think Jamal's saying that. I think Siddiqui's saying
Absolutely.
that. It's just that it's how it's being said. It's what my concern is because I
No
think
question.
it seriously destroys what we're trying to
But
do.
I think also, in order for you to have that conversation, we have to deal with the reality of it. Well, you can't say that the Atlantic's opinion of down there because that's favorable to what you want it to be, and that the Globe talking to people down there that they get it wrong, or me being there is an isolated incident, and you driving through every day, and the woman who's there living it can't make a living, right? And talking to Lenny who's saying that he doesn't get that kind of traffic.
The funny thing is, it's like as far as gentrification goes, it's already happening. It is
Not just there, all over the city.
happening.
All over the city.
Like I said, that building that was there, I saw it like a guy pulling out a $2,000 bike, going in through the garage. Like even on that little corner street, that Killingworth or whatever. Yeah. The house.
Which
will definitely.
Which is the reason why I think doing what the work that has been done there and the work that is continues to be done there is important because it will slow down the gentrification.
Yeah.
That was part of what we were doing. Like, but if this woman can't survive down there, she's not going to be there.
So speaking of stores, let's just
30 seconds.
let's just switch the conversation real quickly. Speaking of stores, when we go to the store and we go to the counter and to pay for our selected items, that counter was created by a black man.
See, I'm glad you got that in.
All right, I want to make sure I want to make sure I leave that with people, so you can see the everyday contributions that we have made to the society.
For granted.
So the counters, when you are dealing with a store, when you go to a counter, the idea, the whole thing was created by a black man. His name was Henry Boyd.
All right.
Henry Boyd, born into slavery in 1806
Thank you, Mr.
in
Boyd.
Kentucky.
All right, we've got to go. You've been listening to At the Round Table with MAMLEO.
Again, the Frugal Bookstore, great resources within there. There's like information about tutoring and about upcoming book events, comic book events for the kids. So definitely check out the Frugal Bookstore. As like I said, it's a great resource. It was my first time being there.
The famous Uptown Nubian Square.
Yes.
Dr. Bradley?
Be blessed.
Well, your brother Siddiqui, man. I just sometimes I can't.
never get the chance to meet ya. No, I came up from the bottom, always rooting for the underdog.
I wrote 300 songs in 1 year, Boogie will tell you I'm on it. I got unreleased songs for days, they don't want it. Eat any MC in the game, it ain't a challenge. If your music reflects who you are, then you's a coward. I can see through the lies you ain't living what you spitting. If your money's so long, why your dog's in prison? Why your baby mom's stripping, why your mom's still living in that same broken home that you used to sell piffin'? You ain't gotta lie to me to sell me a track. You ain't gotta rock fake jewels or walk around strap. I respect artists getting money, but love them for spitting crack. And the fact that one track can move a family out the trap. It's a dream for us lost souls brought up in the mix. I'm motivated by the artists coming out in my midst. And the artists that paved the way when I didn't exist. Music's a skyscraper, I'm just trying to add a couple bricks.
This is for the dreamers. They say I am a dreamer, 'cause I still believe that anything is possible as long as you work hard.
Hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle real hard, hustle real hard.
So if I never see ya, never get the chance to meet ya. No, I came up from the bottom, always rooting for the underdog.